65 million years ago, Earth is a dangerous and untamed planet. Dense forests stretch for miles, the ground shakes under the footsteps of massive dinosaurs, and every sound can mean death. This is not the world humans are meant to live in. Yet a human spacecraft crashes violently into this prehistoric land, changing the fate of two survivors forever. Mills is a skilled pilot from the future, trained for long and risky space missions. He accepted this mission for one reason only. On his home planet, his young daughter Navine is seriously ill, and her treatment is expensive. The mission promises a large payment, enough to save her life. Leaving his family behind breaks him emotionally, but he convinces himself it is the only choice. During deep space travel, the ship is suddenly struck by a powerful asteroid storm. The navigation system fails, alarms scream through the cabin, and the spacecraft is torn apart. Mills loses control and the ship crashes onto an unknown planet. When he regains consciousness, he finds himself injured but alive. The rest of the crew and passengers are dead. Using the ship's scanner, Mills analyzes the environment. The atmosphere is breathable, but the life signs around him are massive and hostile. The final shock comes when the system identifies the planet. It is Earth, 65 million years in the past, just before the extinction of the dinosaurs. As Mills searches the wreckage for supplies, he detects a faint cry. One passenger has survived. Her name is Koa, a young girl who was in a cryopod during the crash. She is frightened and injured, and she does not understand Mills' language. Communication between them is almost impossible, but they both understand danger. Mills discovers that an escape pod was ejected before the crash. It landed several kilometers away. Even worse, the ship's data confirms that a massive asteroid is approaching Earth. In a matter of hours, it will destroy nearly all life on the planet. If they want to s. Morning brings no safety. The jungle wakes with violent energy, and danger seems closer than ever. Mills' injuries from the crash begin to slow him down. His side burns with pain, and his movements are stiff, but he forces himself forward. Koa stays close, watching him carefully, sensing his weakness even if she cannot name it. They move through thick forests where massive plants block the light and every shadow hides a threat. Strange calls echo from all directions. At one point, the ground begins to shake as a herd of huge herbivorous dinosaurs crashes through the trees. Mills pulls Koa behind a fallen trunk, holding her still as the creatures thunder past. One wrong move would have meant death. As they continue, they reach a swamp-like area filled with fog and murky water. Mills tests each step carefully, aware that predators often hide beneath the surface. Suddenly, small fast-moving dinosaurs attack from the sides. They are not large, but they are aggressive and hunt in groups. Mills fires his weapon, saving Koa, but the fight costs him valuable ammunition. The silence that follows feels heavier than the attack itself. During a brief rest, Mills activates a small holographic device from his pocket. It projects a message from his daughter, recorded before he left home. Her voice is full of hope and trust. Mills watches quietly, his face tight with emotion. Koa notices the change in him. She sits beside him and gently places her hand on his arm. The moment is simple, but it creates a deeper bond between them. Their path takes them across a wide open plain with no cover. The sun is harsh, and the land offers no protection. A sudden shadow passes over them. A massive flying predator dives from the sky. Mills grabs Koa and they run, barely reaching a narrow canyon. The creature attacks again, its claws scraping the rocks as it tries to reach them. Inside the canyon, danger multiplies. Echoes of growls and heavy footsteps surround them. Mills realizes they are being. The air grows heavy as the asteroid's presence begins to affect the planet. The sky darkens, filled with ash and burning streaks of light as fragments enter the atmosphere. Each step forward feels harder than the last. Mills is exhausted, his injuries worsening, but he refuses to stop. The escape pod is close now, and that thought keeps him moving. They pass through a valley where the ground is cracked and unstable. Sudden earthquakes throw them off balance, and rocks fall from the cliffs above. Koa stays alert, helping Mills when he stumbles. Without words, she guides him, warns him, and supports him. Their bond has grown stronger than language. As they approach the crash zone where the escape pod landed, they hear a familiar, terrifying sound. The massive predator that hunted them earlier returns. Scarred from previous encounters, the creature is more dangerous than before. It attacks with brutal force, separating Mills and Koa. Mills fights back using his last remaining weapon, but the beast overpowers him, throwing him into the dirt. Koa refuses to run. Remembering what she has seen Mills do, she activates a device taken from the wreckage. A powerful energy blast strikes the creature, forcing it to retreat. The moment proves how much she has learned and how far she has come. Mills looks at her with pride, realizing she is no longer just a child he must protect. They reach the escape pod, but hope quickly fades. The pod is damaged and partially buried under debris. Smoke rises from its hull, and the system struggles to power on. Mills works desperately to repair it while Koa stands guard. Around them, dinosaurs stampede in panic, the ground shaking with every step. The predator returns one final time, driven by rage and instinct. Mills knows this is the end of the line. He arms a proximity explosive, the last weapon he has. Drawing the creature away from the pod, he faces it head-on. As it charges, Mills detonates the device. The explosion kills the beast but her. The asteroid now dominates the sky, a wall of fire racing toward Earth. The ground shakes violently, and the air itself seems to scream. Mills knows there is no time left. The escape pod systems flicker, barely stable, and he understands a painful truth. It may not carry both of them safely. With shaking hands, Mills lifts Koa and places her inside the pod. She immediately understands what he is doing and begins to resist, crying and pulling at him. Mills looks at her with calm resolve. In her eyes, he sees his daughter, and in that moment, his fear disappears. He seals the pod from the outside, locking the door before Koa can stop him. As the launch sequence begins, Koa pounds on the glass, begging him to come with her. Mills presses his hand against the window, offering a final smile. He activates a communicator and records one last message for his family, telling them how much he loves them and how proud he is of his daughter. His voice is steady, free of regret. The pod launches into the sky just as the asteroid strikes Earth. A blinding flash consumes the land. Forests erupt into flames, shockwaves flatten everything in their path, and the age of dinosaurs ends in a single catastrophic moment. Mills stands alone, facing the destruction, his sacrifice complete. Far above the ruined planet, the escape pod tears through the atmosphere and drifts into space. Koa survives. In time, she is rescued by humans from the future. She grows up carrying the memory of Mills, the man who saved her life when the world was ending. Back on Mills' home world, his final message reaches his family. His daughter receives the treatment she needs and survives. She grows up knowing her father not just as a soldier or pilot, but as a man who chose compassion over survival. The story of Adam 65 ends not with extinction, but with hope. In a world doomed to disappear, one human choice proves that sacrifice can echo across time, changing lives long after the fire has faded.